This digital story has been created with Terri Irwin, representing Steve Irwin, who was a 2009 inductee of the Queensland Business Leaders Hall of Fame.
Steve was born into wildlife, growing up on Queensland's Sunshine Coast and helping his parents at the Birwa Reptile and Fauna Park. Established in 1970, this 2-acre wildlife park was home to native wildlife such as lace monitors, tiger snakes, freshwater crocodiles, magpie geese, and kangaroos. Many of the kangaroos were lined up in homemade pouches and cared for by Steve's mom, Lynn. She was an extraordinary wildlife rehabilitator and was quite skilled in nursing injured and orphaned animals and sending them back to the wild. As a child, Steve's hero was his dad. Steve wanted to make his father proud and demonstrated an uncanny gift with wildlife from a very young age. He would go on field trips with his father right through the 70s, helping to relocate problem crocodiles, study snakes in Queensland's deserts, and assist the university with bird surveys, as he was incredibly skilled at climbing trees. By the 1980s, Steve was kicking goals on his own. The wildlife park had expanded to 4 acres, had 2 full-time staff, and was called the Queensland Reptile and Fauna Park. Steve was enlisted by the Queensland government to help with crocodiles by volunteering for the East Coast Crocodile Management Program and captured well over 100 crocodiles, which were relocated or housed at the family's newly established Crocodile Environmental Park. In 1991, Steve took over the management of the small wildlife park, and we met and later married in 1992. I was visiting the wildlife park from my home in Eugene, Oregon, when I met Steve. It was love at first sight. I was 27 years old, and Steve was 29. We were engaged on the 2nd of February, 1992, when I came back to Australia to see Steve again. My life changed dramatically when, on the 4th of June, 1992, I married Steve and began a life of adventure. Instead of a honeymoon, we took the chance to embark on a crocodile rescue mission and filmed the project for a wildlife documentary. The Crocodile Hunter documentary series had begun. We would film over 150 episodes of Crocodile Hunter, Croc Diaries, Croc Files, New Breed Vets, Ghosts of War, and Bindi the Jungle Girl. These programs are now seen by 142 countries and 500 million viewers worldwide. The 1990s brought many changes. Steve's parents retired and moved to Rosedale, Queensland. We changed the name of our now growing wildlife park to Australia Zoo. As filming generated extra funds, we agreed to put all money raised from filming and merchandise back into conservation. Our philosophy was that the zoo animals came first, the zoo team came second, and the zoo visitors came third. With happy, healthy animals, it seemed everyone came first. Steve also asked me to promise him one thing. If anything ever happened to him, I would make sure the zoo would carry on. In 2009, Australia Zoo encompasses 1,500 acres and employs over 600 staff. In 1998, we were blessed with our first child. Bindi was born in Buderim, Queensland on the 24th of July. Steve named her after one of his favorite crocodiles. Bindi is also an Aboriginal word, meaning young girl. Tragically, Steve lost his mother in the year 2000. She was killed in an automobile accident and died instantly. In 2004, Steve dedicated the Australia Zoo Wildlife Hospital to her memory. We had a perfect little girl and now hoped for a son. On the 1st of December, 2003, Robert Clarence Irwin was born. He was named after Steve's dad and my dad. Robert is the mirror image of his father and is crazy about reptiles. Steve's work involved numerous research projects, including teaming up with Professor Craig Franklin of the University of Queensland to conduct the most in-depth studies of saltwater crocodiles ever undertaken. Steve would never know that in August 2006, the university had nominated him as an adjunct professor. In a day that will live in infamy, we lost Steve in an accident while he was snorkeling on the Great Barrier Reef. Hit in the chest by a stingray's barb, Steve died the 4th of September, 2006. The world mourned with us. We must continue Steve's important work. We must stand together to honor the greatest wildlife warrior that ever lived.